What's up, everyone? It's Casey J and myself, Mark Anthony. Today we'll be covering what went wrong, what went well against Monarchs. We'll talk about Klimenta's return, and we'll talk about our upcoming match this Tuesday against Swope Park Rangers. Coming at you. Alright guys, thanks for being with us today. Once again, Casey and myself will be recapping last night's game to start off. So we did host Real Monarchs, first place in the Western Conference. It was a 0-0 draw. It was a pretty open game, exciting game. Unfortunately, the boys did not get the 3 points. We settled with the point at home. Casey, your thoughts about the game overall?
I mean, honestly, with the way the guys played, it's going to feel like 2 points lost. I feel like, especially in the second half, the team really dominated play. Bijev did good on getting the ball up the wings. Matyasic was doing very well on getting the ball up too, but we just lacked in that final third, and we've seen it kind of all season. We've talked about it in previous videos. Right now, if Awasa's not scoring for us, no one else really is stepping up and being that person for us. And we saw it again last night. A lot of great movement. We got the ball up to that final third, and then we get there, and it just gone. Nothing. And I think that's what a problem that really needs to be solved. We even kind of talked to the coach about it last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And to go back, to recap the game started off with both teams having some quality chances. I actually think Monarchs had a couple of really great opportunities early to hit the post.
They did, yeah.
Our team didn't help ourselves out. We had some 3 or 4 missed clearances. Cohen even mishandled a save, which led to another rebound opportunity. So we were a bit shaky in the back. I did think that as the game progressed, we figured it out on defense a little bit better. We tidied it up back there. And then we also started attacking more. Like you mentioned, we had a number of opportunities where we had a great pass behind the defense, and our players out on the wings and even Nisha and Awasa were able to get behind the defense, but we were unable to get that last finishing ball, whether it was a cross on the ground or a final shot. But you're right, in the attacking third is where we failed last night.
Yeah.
And that's where it feels like the 2 points were lost,
Yeah.
So what did you think? Like you mentioned in the second half, we came out real strong. We get a penalty opportunity off a great run by Nisha. He gets on the end of the ball. He puts the keeper in a tough position. Keeper fouls. We get a penalty. It's our chance. Awasa steps up on his birthday, hits the post. What were you thinking when we got that penalty? Were you thinking that we might miss because of our lack of execution there this season?
I definitely. I think, me and everyone around me kind of had that same kind of nerve in our stomach where, like, hey, this is a great opportunity to go up against a good team and get that points. But we also have that doubt in our mind that, we haven't been set-piece team this year. Penalty kicks have been missed. I think we've missed 4 out of 6 is what we talked about. And, you don't win games when you miss 4 out of 6 penalties. That's just, you have an opportunity and you just kind of wasted it. We've seen it. The mentality has to be worked on in practice about taking penalties, stepping up with more confidence.
Yeah, you could say with our 4 missed penalties this year, that's about 4 or 5 missed points at least in the standings.
Easy.
And if we have 4 or 5 more points right now, we're feeling a lot better about the standings.
Yeah, we're up in second and third. We're not down in 5th where we are now. So.
Yeah, we're challenging for the top spot and not, scratching and clawing to stay in the top 8.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like you said, that second half we came out, and even before and after the penalty, we looked like we were going to score. I thought Espino played really well in the wing. He was running his man ragged all night.
He had a good game.
Yeah, but again, it was like Espino or Matyasic or Nisha. They'd get behind the defenders, and then I think Swope was really organized in the back in stopping Awasa getting free in the box.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure that we had a secondary option at all that gave a guy like Espino or Bijev or Matyasic another option. So it was kind of like we were getting to the end line and forcing a ball in.
That's it. And, sometimes it's that lone striker we have up top in the 4-2-3-1 formation we play that kind of isolates, and we did see that. Iwasa wasn't getting on the ball enough, and again, there just wasn't those chances being created in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, it feels like 2 points dropped at home. It also feels like we've dropped more points at home lately. I mean, we haven't won a game in almost a month now. 3 games at home in that month. We have 2 draws and a loss. Yeah, we've, played a couple decent opponents, and the Monarchs are on top, but it does feel like we're just dropping points at home and kind of putting us in a tougher situation when we have our road games.
Yeah, but we're getting through the top teams of our table, of our conference, and so that means towards the later half of the season, we've gone to come up against some of the teams that are below us, and hopefully we can convert some of those lower level teams into 3 points to get us back up in the playoff contention.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see Klimenta's return. He came on as a sub. I thought he was going to start, but I figured he would play no matter what.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that he only came on for the last 15 minutes or so.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I know you were leaning that way, so you were definitely correct on that. What did you think of his return?
I think he came on. It gave the team a boost. You did see him come on, and you did see the crowd kind of get that cheer when he came on. It gave the atmosphere in the stadium a little bit more. He had that free kick right away as soon as he came in. If he would have made that, every news articles would have had their headlines for this game. Unfortunately, he missed it. But I think what was most important about what he brought to the game yesterday was his comments after the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, I mean, he came on, the crowd gave him a big ovation. He did almost score on that free kick. I mean, he at least had a dangerous opportunity. It's a tough kick when you're that close to the goal from a free kick.
It's hard to get it up and down.
You kind of wish in that situation you're like 5 yards back or so. But like you mentioned, after the game, his interview, he talked about the crowd maybe being a little bit subpar than what he is used to in his 4 years prior with the Republic, and he is the all-time leader in minutes and matches played. So he knows as well as anyone about the atmosphere at Papa Murphy's Park, Bonnie Field. So what did you think? Were you a little surprised to hear that? Do you think that he was kind of maybe challenging our crowd for the rest of the season to kind of get behind the guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the crowd was good. I think it's unfair to say that they weren't loud. I know that it's not the crowds that we had a few seasons back when the team was more in its prime. We've had a couple of bad seasons, and I think we lost some of the casual fan base due to that, unfortunately. So we're not filling the seats as much as we were a few seasons ago when Klimenta probably remembers the glory days, and that's probably what he's going off of. But I think it's a good call to action to get the fans out to games, to get them out cheering, and to really start supporting this team, especially during the slump time of the season when we're just not getting results. So I think more than just really criticizing, he was trying to give it a call to action for them to come out and be a little more supportive of the team.
Yeah, and like you said, last night I think was one of the better crowds that we've had this season, and we know it can get louder. We know we can put more people in the seats. But yeah, I think it sets the tone for the rest of the season. I did like that he mentioned that. So it is up to you guys to bring that heat, bring that fire for our remaining home games. We do have quite a few left, so we look forward to that. So moving on, we have a big week ahead of us here. And I think because of our dropped points at home, it kind of puts a little bit more pressure on the guys. We play Tuesday against Swope Park Rangers. On the road, it's going to be a tough game. They're going to come in more rested than we are. Yeah. We're coming off short rest. It's a tough game. What do you think going into it? I mean, right now, Swope is third in the standings. They've been playing really well. They're 4-1 in their last 5. This is a big test for us. How do you kind of see us going into the game? How do you see them coming into the game?
Well, they're a team that's we've kind of talked about teams being midfield heavy, and they do play like a 4-1-4-1 that's going to be very midfield heavy, so it's going to be a game where both teams are going to be battling it out. Both teams have really low goal differentials, letting in a lot of goals at the same time as scoring a good amount of goals. So I think it's going to be a very open game in the sense that both teams are going to have chances. Both teams are going to really go for this game because both are sitting in a spot where they need 3 points right now. They're not trying to hold their leads. They're trying to get back up in that table. And I think with that mentality going into this game, both teams are really going to fight. We're going to see a pretty open game. We're going to see a lot of chances being created.
Yeah, and right now they sit third, 1 point ahead of the Republic, but they have 2 matches in hand. So we are definitely behind them in the standings. It's a big game for the guys. And when you couple that with dropping, let's say, 2 points last game, another 2 points against St. Louis, it puts us in a situation where a draw would be nice, but you kind of think that the guys need to break out of this funk and get a win.
We really do, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so Swope, they're always a tough team. Tyler Blackwood, former Republic player.
A familiar face.
He starts a lot of their games. I expect him to be in the starting lineup. What other players do you think will pose problems for us?
Well, if Belmar's in the team, we've seen him be a great forward, and playing that formation, the 4-1 we talked about before.
4-1-4-1.
Yeah, he's going to be up there, and he's going to be able to create those chances when they do get the ball out of the midfield. So if he's playing, he's definitely going to be someone to look out for, but we don't know if he's going to play or not. So
yeah, he plays with the MLS club Sporting Kansas City. Whenever he's not getting any run, they send him down. So he's only played 9 matches for Swope, but he has 9 goals. So he has 9 goals and 2 assists. That means that he's pretty much on the score sheet, either goals or assists or both, every single game that he's playing. Another guy to look out for is Haji Berry. He is their center forward who is consistently in the team. He has 6 goals, 4 assists. So you could say he's their Cameron Owasa, What I did notice from them is that their team is a lot like our team, where they don't score a lot of goals from set pieces and they don't score a lot of headers. We have 1 header goal this year. They have 2, and they actually have scored a few more goals than our team. But you're looking at Barry and Belmar and even Blackwood. If they're going to score, most likely it's going to be from getting behind the defense. They're quick players. They're fast. They score goals that way. So do you kind of expect to see a back and forth kind of like that, maybe like 2 similar sides facing each other?
I do. I think both teams are possession-based teams. I think both teams want to hold the ball. They want to pass the ball. Both teams are good at passing. Both average about 85% pass completion percentage. So they're both teams that are going to want to dominate on the ball, and I think it's going to, again, make for a very open game because they're going to have that possession. As soon as one team breaks down, we're going to see a lot of breakaways. You said that speed for them. We know we have the speed on our side with Gomez, Matiasik, Iwasa, Nishaw. So it's going to be about those breakaways. It's going to be about getting behind the back line after you get a little breakout. So I think it's going to be a very open, interesting game.
Yeah, and they give up goals too. I mean, they're 4-1 in their last 5, so they are definitely playing well. But even in their wins, they are giving up goals. They've rotated between 4 keepers this year, so yeah, I'm not sure
That's always rough.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to be between the sticks for him, but it's a big game, especially if we want to get back in the top 3. A couple results did go in our favor last night and this weekend, so even with the dropping points at home, we didn't lose too much footing in the standings, maybe in terms of where we are, because we are now in 6th, but in terms of the gap, we didn't fall too far behind. How big of a game do you think this is, and how important is it for us to win this game?
Well, I mean, I think it's important for us to win every game, especially, trying to become that MLS team and all the things that this club is striving for. But this one in particular, like you said, we need to break that slump. We need to get back up the table. We're getting down into that 8th position where we might not even qualify for the playoffs. And so those are things that we want to get away. So, yeah, a huge game, like every game is. The boys need to go there with the mentality, this is a 3-point game. They can't want a point out of this. It's got to be 3 points.
And again, the game is on Tuesday this week, which is a little bit unusual. Usually we see Wednesday games for midweek, but Tuesday, so the boys will be heading there probably tomorrow, I believe. So, one player for the Rangers that won't be playing is Matthias Silva. He's their defensive midfielder. He got a red card last game, so I expect him to be suspended.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's a big game going forward. We'd love to hear your thoughts on last night's game and, of course, Tuesday's performance. Share the content, subscribe below. Let us know what you thought of the crowd, what you thought of our performance in total, how disappointed you were. Whatever your thoughts are on the game, we'd love to hear and converse with you guys. But what is your prediction for Swope?
Again, since I think it's going to be a very open game, I think there's going to be a few goals in this one. I'm going to go 2-1 for us.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game. I actually see us drawing this game 1-1. So Either way, I will take a draw, even though we haven't won in about a month. I will take a draw on the road and assess the situation moving forward. But give us your predictions. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, we'll see you soon.